What's going on, Grace, Blade, Abby?
What's up?
How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. Nice to see you guys. Alrighty, nice to see everyone this afternoon. Welcome back to CS 107. This is class number 2. We're going to wait a couple more minutes for more people to show up. But all the activities for tonight are set up on Canvas, starting with, I believe, 1.6. So if you want to get a preview of what we're doing, it is there. We'll get started in probably 2 minutes. View.
Oh, okay.
Actually, because so much stuff was imported from past versions of this class, I would not use that view. Because it'll have stuff that we may not use.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty, good to see everyone again tonight. Welcome back to CS 107. This is class 2. Today we're gonna get into actually using Thunkable. We're doing a variety of activities to get you comfortable with the platform. So if you haven't already, we'll be setting up Thunkable. Today's focused on, I think, 4 different Thunkable tutorials. There's an additional activity, a scavenger hunt, to learn more about the user interface, and I will cover how to submit work with Thunkable, but it should be pretty straightforward. Corny joke of the day: what was Beethoven's favorite fruit? You can write it in the chat or call it out. I'll give you a little hint. See if you can figure this out. Aha. And with that, okay. So Tuesday was class 1. We covered sort of the expectations and the content of how this class will flow. We did an introduction to our first computer science concept, which is algorithms. You guys applied like algorithmic thinking and your expression of algorithms through pseudocode to working through the Muddy City problem. And we started with some coding practice, code.org lesson 4, which is a very simple sequential coding problem. And hopefully you also got some practice with the Blockly maze. Just to review some of the basics for this class, there's a question of do you need to have taken a previous CS class, and the answer is absolutely not. This is intended as sort of a gentle introduction to computer science concepts and some programming generally. And the goal is by the end of this class that you should be ready to take 110, whether you want to be a major or not, but you should have had my hope is that you've had a positive enough experience, build some confidence such that you could go forward and go into the computer science track if that's what you're interested in. People take this course for a variety of reasons. A big reason people take the course is because it meets the university B1 quant requirement. This course also counts toward the CS minor, not the CS major, but occasionally CS majors do take the class because it aligns with some other prerequisites. The idea for this class is for it to be sort of a low floor, so everyone should be able to engage what we call a high ceiling. So if you're ready to go farther with it, I should be able to facilitate that for you. Talked a little bit about myself. I'm a San Francisco native. I've lived a bunch of places, and this has been in education for a while. Ayla is the TA for this class. She's born and raised in Texas. Ayla, are you here? I don't know what's going on in Texas tonight, but she's here. All right. Hello, Ayla. Good to see you. Alrighty. Okay, so office hours. Generally, do my office hours immediately after class. If there's another time you'd like to meet, email me. I've got a pretty open schedule these days. Ayla is available on Monday and Wednesdays from 12 to 1. The grading in this class is pretty straightforward. So the two main assignments are apps that you'll build starting tonight, and then there's coding practice activities. I weight it more toward the apps because that's when you're actually applying concepts, and I think that's an authentic expression of your understanding of concepts. I'm not really into like quizzes or tests because I just don't think multiple choice stuff shows whether you know the concept or not. I'd like to see it in practice, so I weight things towards the apps. For people who are CS minors or majors, I also teach 110, so I've got all the curriculum online. If you want to see what the curriculum for 110, anyone can check this out. You're welcome to work through it. Just want you to know it's there as an extension for anyone who is looking for some more difficult stuff. There's no device or book needed for this class. Previous iterations of this class required an Android device, which was kind of a pain. That's why we switched platforms to something that you can test in your browser. The platform we use is Thunkable, and the free account is limited to 10 projects, which is not enough for this class. Where we've been making 20 to 25 different apps that you will submit in this class. And so we worked out a deal with Thunkable. You can get the pro account for $25, which is a pretty good deal. Normally it's $20 a month for access to the platform. And the information is on Canvas under the course resources. It looks kind of like this. You need to have already created a free Thunkable account. I typed out that URL. You can find it under the link on Canvas, enter the class code, and so on. There's sort of a tension for this class because I think in general, trying to capture actual app development process in between two classes and whatever work you're doing outside. It's not constrained to normal classes and whatnot. In addition, as I will emphasize, an app is never really finished. So the idea that, I think what's really important is we do have a general time when we're expecting the work that you do each week to be done, but generally this is really about a process and you engaging in a process. So apps should be submitted on time, and but we're really interested in you engaging in the app development process and getting something out of it. So if you don't get the grade you want, for example, you can always resubmit for a higher grade. We're pretty clear about the way things are graded. I do ask that the grade adjustments, they're generally done with the TA, and they should be not during class, before or after class or office hours, but not something we would do directly in class. The way this class will work is I'll introduce a concept. We'll do some coding practice around the concept, and then we'll apply the concept to actual app building. So we did a little bit of that in class 1, where the concept was introduce this idea of algorithms, or the steps to solve a problem. I guess very specifically, from code.org lesson 4 is a very specific sequential algorithm problem. A little bit of practice with it. Today we'll be doing basic apps, which do which don't directly model that idea, but it's like they're very simple. You would click a button and something happens. So there's not a lot of divergence in the path these apps will go. But you'll notice for all the concepts going forward, it'll generally follow this format. We'll be using, so on the positive, computer science instruction has evolved quite a bit in the last 5 or 10 years to like make it a lot easier to access. These programs are a lot more flexible. They're much more forgiving. The problem is there's not one perfect program that I think teaches the concepts sequentially the way I think they're most effectively taught. So we do jump around a little bit. We started with a curriculum on Tuesday, code.org, CSP, and we'll generally try to stay in one curriculum because that's obviously easiest for everybody. But there are times when we'll be moving around because I think there's better ways to teach things. The grading rubric for Thunkable or for the apps is up on Canvas, so everything should be transparent how all the grading is done. When you get feedback, you'll get very specific feedback about what is not working or what is missing. So if you want to improve those and resubmit, it's part of this class. There will be a discussion. I'll have a discussion thing up on Canvas. If you need to ask questions, you can always email as well. That's also simple. I think Piazza is just such a crappy interface, but it did one thing really well, which is it allowed people to post anonymously. And so if you feel you need, in order to like really be successful and to really kind of move forward with computer science, you need to feel comfortable asking what may seem like really basic questions. So it'd be cool if people use Canvas in the discussion to like ask questions so other people may have the same questions. But if you don't feel comfortable asking on Piazza or either on the discussion board, then feel free to email me. But you should feel comfortable asking any question because a lot of this is like the basics and you need to feel comfortable with it. If you haven't already, please do take, I think most people have taken this intro survey. The surveys they'll generally be a weekly survey. There's a weekly survey this week. I am aware that they get sort of repetitive and tedious, so there won't be one every week, but the feedback is what improves this class. We've had to modify this class significantly over the last year, so we're doing this obviously in a new format online. We're doing a new platform, Thunkable, which required writing new curriculum. So there's a lot of places where there could be improvements, and your feedback is like, without your feedback, it's much harder to improve this class. So as much as I like everyone will feel positive feedback makes people feel good, it's the critical feedback where we actually improve. So let me know what could be better. I think philosophically, just in line with that idea, if you're doing things you're already familiar with, that you're already comfortable with, there's very little learning. As an instructor, my goal is to kind of push you a bit into what you might think of as a stretch zone. Computer science is a great platform, or just a great discipline, because it requires you to test things over and over and over again. So you're going to make mistakes and fail and have to like make adjustments. Like that's like an inherent part of the process. And so this is something where you do get stretched out because you're not going to be successful all the times, the first times, but and so on. And where I don't want to push you into is this red zone, because that's where people shut down and learning doesn't happen in that case. So definitely trying to push you out of your comfort zone, but not too far. And feedback through surveys or otherwise is one of the ways you can let me know if that's being effective. I would simply say philosophically, this class is about the process of thinking like a computer science and much less about a perfect product. You probably get a notification at least every week on your devices about apps that need to be upgraded, or if they want the new version, there's a new version out. And that's because like in computer science, and especially with app development, that's never complete. Things are never perfect. The user is always changing. The needs of the users are always changing. And so similar to this class, it's about a process of creating things, understanding that things are going to change, and it's not about like the final app that's the last thing. It's not what we're pushing for here. Okay, so right, and so just to review quickly what we started with on Tuesday. We introduced our first concept. And then we'll get into the first tutorial, which is the text-to-speech. And then you can find this all on Canvas as well. You don't need to follow along with me, but a basic sort of tutorial on how to test your app and how to submit it. And then there's a variety of tutorials tonight. So let's go back here. I have this young gentleman, tell us about Thunkable.
Hi everybody, in this video you're going to learn what Thunkable is, how it works, you're going to learn how to test your apps with your phone, and you're going to really understand why we're using Thunkable for this class. Let's go ahead and get started. Once you log into Thunkable, you'll see this screen, and what we want to do is start building. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start Building here. Now you do not need to follow along because I'm just going to show you some stuff in this video. I'm going to title this one Example Screen. So when you create a new project, you get into this screen right here, and you can go ahead and close this sidebar. In this screen, this is what your phone screen will look like once you code this. On the left-hand side, we've got two major areas. I like to start at the bottom because of your apps. These tools are things like buttons, labels, text inputs, those are like text boxes, list viewers, web viewers, switches, sliders, and you name it. There are a lot of properties for that component on the right-hand side. And as you can see, as I click on the component, the properties change. Screen 1 is a component that can change the alignment, we can make things scrollable or not scrollable. In the button components, we can go ahead and change background colors as well, the background picture of our button. So I can go ahead and call this one maybe bottom button. Our block section, and in the blocks we can go ahead and do all the blocks. We'll see that there are two major sections here. We've got these drawers, and these drawers are filled with what we call built-in blocks, and you can tell it's one of those built-in blocks because it has these colors next to it. For example, in the control drawer, we can see we have the if statements, we have loops, we have a lot of different options here. In the logic, we have equal signs, greater than, less than. We've got.
Alrighty, I'm gonna stop this here. But I think you're going to be able to figure most of this out on your own. Something that's I think important is these tutorials. I'm sure everyone's familiar with YouTube, but there's a couple things that can make these more user friendly. One is obviously you can change the speed on a YouTube video if it's too slow. But if you prefer these videos in another language, if you put on the subtitles, you can often set the subtitle into a different language. So if you want it in Spanish or whatever, you can do a lot of different things here, and so on. Move forward. I hope it's ideal to have a second screen to do a lot of this stuff because then you can put the tutorial or whatever you want to like interface with on one of the screens and then do the coding on another screen. Sometimes that's not available, and so it can be really useful to just set the two screens side by side so you'll have today we're working off of tutorial videos, for example, so to have a tutorial video to reference, and then on the left side, or however you organize it, you can do these on the same screen, something that you should know is a strategy that might be helpful for you. With that, I'm not going to do, I'm going to let you guys jump ahead and do this. So if you can find this on Canvas. It is 1.7, it's our first tutorial. It is text-to-speech, and so you should be, if you log into Thunkable and start a new project, we can start building this. I will build this as well. To be the wrong video, so I'll do it through Canvas. And if I'm doing the text-to-speech. Alrighty, so I'm going to start the video on my other screen. I'm going to drag a button and it sort of automatically centers itself in the Sorry, this is running a bit slow, but okay, so there's that, and then it said we need a...
Now click the Blocks tab. This section allows you to program your app.
Alrighty, so it wants me to do some basic programming right now, so I'll go to the Blocks tab, and I'll go to my text-to-speech button because that's what I want to program something for. And when it's clicked, speak some text. So I'm going to drag this purple block out, and as it is right now, it gives you I guess a default of it'll say hello. So when the button is clicked, it should say hello. I'm going to test it now. So you can definitely, if you want, on your own, download the Thunkable Live app. It's free and it allows you to test all the apps on your phone. But just for like fast testing, I like this live test feature. So you can have the basic of the app. If I'm testing it,
hello.
It's really that simple. So that's the first app. I think there's a challenge connected to this app, and I might as well just show you what it is. That's text input is the component, so I'm going to drag it down here. And hopefully it pops up. There we go. Oh, it's in the wrong place, so I'm going to want to reorganize it a little bit. I'm going to do that from the app tree here, and I'm just going to drag it on top, or the button on top. And I want a little space between the text input and the button, so I'm going to go here and add some distance in the margin between them. Alrighty, so now whatever I type, what I want to happen is whatever the user types here, I want the app to speak it. So, hello CS107. See if that works.
Hello.
Well, half of it worked. Maybe something simpler.
Hello, class.
There we go. Okay, so it does work. It got confused with I tried to get too slick with it. Alrighty, with that, the last thing I want to show you is how to share an app. So now that I've got a basic app created, I'm going to click on the Thunkable banner here, and it'll take me back to the My Project screen. And this is very specific about how we're going to share these. So what should happen is all of my projects will show up. And I'm going to click the three buttons here, and it will give me these options. Where I want to go is project detail page for the app that I'm going to submit. And so it'll take, each app has its own sort of landing page where you can test it in the page or share